Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Deep breath, and we exhale. So my name is Sri Sudarshan, and I'm the founder and leader at SKYLIGHT Yoga. I'm currently seated in our ashram, which is a yoga school in Miami Beach. You're welcome through these doors of our ashram at any time. That is why it is here. It is a spiritual refuge. It is a place where the word shram in Sanskrit means to work or to toil. So it is where the work of yoga happens, at an ashram. It is where yoga lives. Yoga lives at an ashram. And so does the teacher, so that when students and aspirants, seekers are ready, the teacher is always there. So you'll find that this practice of yoga is more about us becoming ready as yoga practitioners, preparing ourselves, disciplining ourselves for the practice of yoga. So we can do it not just for 1 hour once a week, but make this yoga your day-to-day reality. And you say, why should I make yoga a day-to-day reality? That's the question I will be answering today, right now. Why should I make yoga my day-to-day reality? Why should moment by moment be spent in the awareness of who I am, what is my purpose, and what is my goal? Every single one of us, those are the 3 most profound and essential questions that anyone has ever asked in the history of humanity. It forms the foundation of all spiritual practices worldwide. Who am I? What is my purpose? And what is my goal? Specifically today, it is to learn about immunity, how we can live healthily and happily as best as we possibly can according to our own lives and own lifestyle. And then a neophyte practitioner may ask themselves, is this yogi, Sudarshan, SKYLIGHT Yoga, are they going to ask me to go to India, renounce my family and my job, and go meditate in a cave for decades? Because this is the depiction of yoga that we're familiar with. Dreadlocked yogi, covered in ash, sitting on some animal skin, and meditating for constant hours and hours, and not eating. And this is the few of the depictions of yoga, in addition to twisting your body in all kinds of positions, so making yoga look like a contortionist activity. Why do I want to bring yoga into my life? Well, let's talk about what is yoga first, and then you will know what you are bringing into your life. Google yoga, or you see a billboard of yoga, or you have a magazine of yoga, and it's usually a very skinny person. Beautiful makeup, perfect body is what society calls perfect body. But this is not where yoga is leading you. Yoga is leading you to discover your own perfection, regardless of the shape and size and color of your body. All of us have, because we are souls, and the soul takes on the instruments of a mind and a body. That soul is perfect. You and I, all of us, are already perfect. And any idea of otherwise gets to be corrected through the practice of yoga. If you wish to realize, if you wish to know and understand that you are perfect, and you are whole, and you are complete, and that is the meaning of the mantra I shared in the beginning, if you would like to know and understand and realize that, then yoga is your practice. Immunity, health, breath, nutrition, and wisdom. How am I going to get this? You're going to use what you already have. You're going to use the tools you've already been given. Your beautiful, able body and your sharp, keen mind. Those are the tools that we're going to use along with all aspects of your personality. So, where am I starting and where am I going in yoga? It's summarized by this Sanskrit mantra. Asatoma satgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. That means, lead me from untruth to truth, or ignorance to knowledge. I've introduced to you the three most profound questions that any human being could ask. Who am I? What is my purpose? And what is my goal? So now as we start the yoga practice, you would ask, so if I don't know who exactly I am, or if I don't know my purpose, or if I don't know the goal of life, the purpose of life, the goal of my life, given a human embodiment, if the problem is ignorance, then the only solution to ignorance is knowledge. Asatoma satgamaya. Lead me from ignorance to knowledge. Lead me from untruth to truth. The second line, tamasoma jyotirgamaya. Bring me from darkness to light. Darkness is the analogy for ignorance, for blindness, for unconsciousness. And light is the metaphor for illumination, for illumination of the intellect, for wisdom, and for realization. So bring me from darkness to light. And then bring me from death to immortality. And this one should be an interesting one. You say, come on. Well, you understanding and knowing yourself as a body right now means the body is subject to birth and death. But there is an eternal aspect of you. And that eternal aspect, eternal entity known as the soul, has been the cause for rebirth and rebirth and rebirth and rebirth. So there is an immortal entity, aspect, reality about you. And your essential reality, your deepest reality is that soul, and that soul is eternal. It's immortal. It cannot be born, it cannot be died, it cannot be dried by the wind, cannot be pierced by any sword. It cannot be wet by any water and cannot be burnt by any fire. That comes from the yoga scriptures. So, this is the movement we're now beginning, is to understand my own abilities, to show you your own abilities, to teach you how amazing your capabilities are as a human being, and that those promises of health and happiness and prosperity and enlightenment are your birthright. They are not lofty words written in spiritual books. They are your birthright. Each of us has four aspects of our personality. They are action, emotion, will, and reason. the 4 aspects of every human personality. If you are in a body right now, check that you're in a body, okay. Then your body is disposed to action. You must act if you're in a body. You cannot avoid action. So that's one aspect of our personality. And that's one aspect that yoga purifies with karma yoga. So I'm now leading you into understand the 4 yogas. Action purified by karma yoga. This is the yoga that looks directly at, this is for active people as well, people that like to engage their bodies and their minds in service. So when you are acting in day-to-day life, no matter what the action is, so long as the action does not cause you or others pain, so long as the action does not cause you and others suffering, karma yoga, any action can be turned into selfless action. How do I perform action selflessly? Is you take the I-ness and mine-ness out of it. You do the action for the sake of doing the action. And the best way I can explain this with a simple analogy is the work of a doctor or a surgeon. So we want unattachment, right? We want to be detached from the fruits of the action and to perform the action for the sake of doing the action. That is karma yoga. That's selfless action. That's action without selfish intent. So the analogy is, the way to understand this is the surgeon. The surgeon performs the surgery, and if the surgeon were attached to the actions and the fruits of the actions, then the surgeon performs the next surgery on the next patient in the very same way, so that the surgeon gets the very same fruits of the action. And you see how much that would cause suffering and pain for both the surgeon, the patient, and the entire hospital and community. If doctors, if surgeons were performing their actions with attachment, do you realize how much of a problem that would cause the patient, the person being operated on? So the surgeon must perform the action for the sake of doing the action according to the needs of each and every patient with skill and precision, and step back. And that is karma yoga. That's the first yoga. The second yoga is Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the yoga that transforms our emotions into devotion. All of us are emotional creatures. We make decisions emotionally. We are emotional beings. What is an emotion? Emotion. Energy in motion. So this emotional feeling that you have, this emotion that you have, is an energy that is not physical, but you feel it. You are led by it. You are sometimes overcome by emotions. So what to do with this energy in motion, and how to utilize this energy for something that's for a greater purpose for us, its most beneficial end. And this is the practice of Bhakti Yoga. How do you turn and transform and purify emotions into devotion to realizing who am I, inquiring into the nature of yourself, inquiring into the nature of the mind. What's my purpose in this life? What is my goal? This is the energy you utilize from Bhakti Yoga and turn it into. One way to achieve enlightenment. Perfect health, perfect immunity, perfect wisdom. Those are the first 2 yogas, Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. We're coming into Raja Yoga, which is the yoga that we're all familiar with. This is the bucket, this is the yoga of Raja Yoga, where we turn our our physical energy and our mental energy into spiritual energy. This is the yoga of Raja Yoga, turning your physical and mental energy into spiritual energy. How do you do that? Well, it starts with poses, practices of postures. What is the point of the posture? To look good on Instagram? No, not. What is the point of the posture? Is to bring all of the systems in the physical body into radiant health. While you are twisting, for example, we'll just do one example. Twist. When you twist, what's happening? Your spine is twisting and all the abdominal viscera are twisting. When we eat 3 meals a day and we constantly pack food into our stomach and our digestive system, our small and large intestine, not all of it is digested. You will know this if you take a 3-day fast. To do a fast under the guidance of a qualified teacher, a knowledgeable and unselfish teacher. But we start with a 1-day fast. Our whole lives, we have never given a break to our immune system, our digestive system, our stomach, our small and large intestine. Think about it. The entire lifetime you've lived, you've eaten the entire time. So we wake up, we eat breakfast, right? As soon as we feel hungry in the middle of the day, we eat lunch. And as soon as we feel hungry, we eat dinner at night. And we wake up and we do it all over again. And it's never taken a break. So your poor system, your poor body, give it 1 day. Give it 24 hours under the guidance of a teacher. I'm here for you always. And you give the body a rest. Now, you go on for 3 days of the fast, and you will still pass bowels after day 1 and day 2. So come again? Yes, after 2 days of not eating, you will still pass bowels. This is telling you how much SHIT we are carrying around with us on a day-to-day basis. So, the physical posture of twisting, after having eaten all throughout our lives and never taken a break, those food particles got caught and trapped in the folds of your stomach, the folds of your intestines. And they have been remaining there, being reabsorbed. Those same food particles get reabsorbed and cause disease. They're waste. They're sitting as waste. They've already been absorbed by your stomach, already been digested by the enzymes in the stomach, already been absorbed by the small and large intestine. They stay in the folds and they cause disease. They ferment, they cause cysts in the interior walls of your organs. They are known as plaques. So what a twisting does is it removes those plaques. It cleans the interior and exterior walls of your organs. That's just one explanation of one type of posture and its physical benefits. Next is breathing, learning how to breathe. This is part of all Raja Yoga, turning your physical and mental energy into spiritual energy. Next, after the poses, after learning the postures and why you do the postures correctly and safely, we must practice yoga. If you do not feel that your teacher is teaching you correctly and safely, find a new teacher. If you do not feel your studio is teaching you safely, is making sure you're doing the postures that's safe for your body. Because it is so important that you do not repeat an unsafe movement over and over again in yoga practices, thinking that you're doing it correctly, or the teacher not even teaching you how to do something correctly, and you repeat that motion and you're doing more damage than you are good. So it's incredibly important that you learn from a teacher who has intimate knowledge of the way that the physical body, the human body, was designed. And if your teacher has intimate knowledge of the way human body is designed, they know exactly how to employ this physical body in the best way possible, to give you the movements and the exercises that are exactly right for you and safe for you. Now we are learning the breathing exercises. Why is it important to breathe? If you want to go to our website, there's a new illumination. There's a page called SKYLIGHT Yoga /illumination. SKYLIGHTyoga.com/illumination. And there are articles that I've written, and the last one just published on June 6th was on breathing. Why it's important to learn how to breathe. If you go on the sidewalk and tell someone to take a deep breath, they probably go like this. Pump up their chest. Just raise the chest. Raise the shoulders up to the ear. And this is the most shallow type of breathing because the lungs are smallest in the top and largest in the bottom. The largest lobes of our lungs are the lowest lobes of the lungs. Our diaphragm is sitting at your solar plexus. If you measure your 4 finger widths, place that below your sternum bone, the breastplate. The end of the bottom of your breastplate or sternum bone, 4 finger widths below that is the center of your solar plexus. Or 4 finger widths above the navel is the center of the solar plexus. So that's how you find your solar plexus. This is the battery of the body, ladies and gentlemen. The battery of your body is your solar plexus. The solar plexus, and you may have probably heard of chakras. They come again? Chakras? No, chakras. These are called chakras, and the solar plexus chakra governs your breath. It is the battery of the body. So stoke that fire. If you want immunity, if you want health, longevity, stoke the fire, stoke the oven, which is your solar plexus, your Manipura chakra. If you feed that fire, you'll be able to digest food better, the gastric fire. If you stoke that fire, then you'll be extracting more oxygen from the air. So a yogi will learn several breathing techniques for specific purposes of controlling the mind, controlling the energies of the body, and directing the energies in the mind. For what? For meditation. So now we're getting more advanced, right? But you cannot neglect the asanas, the posture. You cannot neglect the breathing, the pranayama. You cannot neglect withdrawing the energies that go outward through our mind and senses and turning them back around and shining them back on yourself. We cannot neglect these preparatory and disciplinary practices of yoga. That is a brief introduction to Raja Yoga, the yoga that we use our physical and mental energy into spiritual energy. There are only 4 yogas. So all the yogas that you have seen in the life, hamburger yoga, horse yoga, beer yoga, ice yoga, all the yogas. I don't have to go on. You can name all the yogas. All those yogas find their home in 4 buckets, 4 categories, 4 aspects, 4 yogas. And the last one is the yoga that you are doing right now. But I didn't know I'm doing yoga? Yes, the yoga of intellect, the yoga of knowledge, the yoga that purifies the intellect. And what happens when you purify the intellect? It becomes intuitive. So when you have heard the word realization or self-realization, it is to mean that you have systematically employed the 4 aspects of yoga and matched them with the 4 aspects of your personality to blend and harmonize them, to purify them. And what that looks like in this type of yoga is your understanding is enlightened. All of us have used our understanding throughout this session and this satsang It is that understanding that gets enlightened through the practice of jnana yoga, the yoga of knowledge, the yoga of wisdom. It's this understanding and that understanding which gets deeper and deeper, or more expansive and more expansive, until the sphere of the mind, which was limited and trapped, opens and opens and opens and never stops opening until you realize that you are ever expansive. There is no limit to your abilities. There is no limit to your mind. There's no limit to how good you can feel in your heart and in your body. Favoring one aspect of yoga is a lopsided approach and does not guarantee you will reach the goal. Employing a balanced, harmonious, intelligent practice of yoga guarantees that you reach the goal, because you are purifying the four aspects of your personality, and that is enlightenment. It is not a magical potion that you have to go seek a guru in the Himalayas and ask the guru in the Himalayas, give me the magical formula, the nectar of immortality. You've read that in yoga scriptures. I want that nectar, please. I'll pay US dollars for it. It is not that. The nectar of immortality is you. It is your own soul. And to realize that gives you immunity, gives you freedom, gives you something that nobody else can take from you. That was a very high level understanding, a very profound insight into yoga. Now, right now, we're moving into more like the details now. Society, how we work on this yoga right now, how all of us, according to our own concept, understanding, and faith in ourselves and faith in the teacher, will practice yoga now. Something that no one else can take from you. The narrative in society right now is about a virus and about racism, about death. So boiling it down, the narrative in society that has been dominating the airwaves for all of 2020 has been about death. Taking the body from you, taking the relationships from you, taking the life from you. But you said that Sudarshan just taught me about something that cannot be taken away from me. This soul, this illumination of your soul, this enlightenment, this devotion, this selflessness can never be taken by anybody. And it is that same selflessness, devotion, control of your own body and mind, and enlightenment of your understanding that will give you every single outcome of every single desire you've ever had in your life, with action, emotion, will, and reason. These are the very same tools that you have been utilizing the whole life. But if there is a problem, and the problem is ignorance, then the solution is knowledge. If the problem is you do not feel love, the solution is to feel love. The solution, if the problem is I have no control over mind and senses, then the solution is to discipline the mind and senses. If the problem is I do not understand who am I, what is my goal and what is my purpose, then the solution is to realize who am I, purpose and the goal. Racism topic is all based on the body, but yoga will teach you and you will learn that you are beyond the body. You are more than the body. Yes, you have this sack of skin, flesh, bones, liquids, juices, and yet you have something more. You have understanding, you have sentiments, you have feelings. Tell me, where can you surgically remove the feelings from the body? Can you extract the sentiments from your body? No, you cannot. So this is now the second body. You have a physical body, you have a sentimental, astral body, an energetic body. And this is where the chakras are. And then you have a third body. And this is the body of causality, of ignorance. So when you go to sleep at night, everything is lost, everything disappears. Every night, all of our own ego, our ego's attachments, our relationships, our possessions, everything we've ever known, my dear brothers and sisters, give it away every night. In deep sleep, you give it away every single night. And it's not a problem for you. Has it been a problem for you every single night? You constantly give away your house, your possessions, your family, the what is most dear to all of us goes blank every single night. And yet, we don't find this a big problem. We wake up and we start it all over again. But this shows you that there is an aspect of you that is ever free, that is beyond the clamor of the world process. And that aspect of you is covered in the darkness of ignorance in deep sleep. That is the blankness that we experience in deep sleep. So then, how do I experience enlightenment? How will it be when I am enlightened? Is that through the waking state, by purifying the four aspects of the personality, the veil of ignorance is removed, and the light of pure consciousness shines at all times, in all places. In and through our waking state shines this light of who you are, your real you. In and through the dreaming state, when we're laying on our bed and we dream an entire new personality. We dream an entire new dream world. And we dream an entire dream experience. And all of that was produced by you. It was all a product of your own consciousness. In the same way, that very same self, that very same consciousness is there throughout this waking state. And it is the one that is shining the light behind your eyes and behind the mind. Let's do a quick experiment that yoga gives. It is the actual prakriya in yoga. It's called a thought experiment. And it's very simple, and all of us can do it very quickly. You look at an object. I'll hold up an object. Cell phone. Your eyes are the seer of the object, and your cell phone is the seen. That's easy, right? Your eyes are the seer, and objects are the seen. And you use the light of your eyes, metaphorically, to see the world, the objects, including your own body. Okay, move on. Easy enough. Next stage is the condition of your eyes. Open, closed, open, closed. dry, moist. I can see far, I can see close. I can't see far, I can't see close. The condition of the eyes, the changes of the eyes, are known to who? The mind. Your mind is aware of the condition of the eyes. So now the mind became the seer, and the eyes became the seen. The mind is the light that is shining on to illuminate the eyes. The mind is the consciousness that illumines the objects of consciousness, just as the eyes was the consciousness that illumined all the objects of your consciousness in the world. Now, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your memories. Who's seeing that? By what light are you seeing your own mind? That is the light of the self. That is the light of who you truly are. That is where yoga leads you. If you can look at your own ability to understand what I have said and your ability to not understand what I've said, that is the light is shining on your own understanding, the light of the self. And that is the self that brings you absolute immunity. That is the self that is known as pure existence, pure consciousness, and pure bliss. The nature of all of us is bliss, pure consciousness, and immortality, immunity. You are forever free. You are forever immune. If only you would realize who you are. That self, that is the I, the real I, that has been with you when you were 3 years old, when you were 13 years old, and when you're 83 years old. I am a little boy. I am a teenager. I am an old person. Same I went with you everywhere, but the body was changing. And in the same way, is the world changing? Yes. Is the body changing? Yes. But what didn't change? The eyes. The eyes were always seeing as the seer, and this whole world changed, constantly changed. Then I asked you to go a step further. Your mind, unchanging, eyes closed, open, changing. Your thoughts, your mind, is it changing? Anybody's mind doesn't change? Mind and thoughts go on changing. That light of the self, the light of the soul, unchanging. That is where you find your immunity. That is where you find all knowledge. That is where you find all wisdom. And with this, we'll conclude. If you want to bring your palms together in front of your heart again and close your eyes, I will say the closing prayer, the closing mantra. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste.